Hi there, it's Simon Gray from Career Codex, and no jacket required here in the UK today. It's extremely warm. Perhaps summer has finally arrived. In today's weekly video, I just wanted to comment on some feedback I had from last week's video. You remember I asked for some feedback. Well, I got some feedback, and a big thank you to Andy, who pointed out that the backdrop behind me perhaps wasn't fit for purpose. And also what I've decided to do is to keep these videos a bit shorter, a bit punchier, just so they're more easily consumable. So going to limit the message, but if you want more detail on what I'm talking about, every week I put out a blog post, which is on my website, careercodex.com, and also a podcast, which you can find on the website on careercodex.com/podcast, or through SoundCloud or iTunes. So today I'm talking about Bob and Bill. And for anyone who's read my first book, Super Secrets of the Successful Jobseeker, you'll remember Bob and Bill from the first chapter. And in actual fact, whenever I meet somebody who's read this book, what they tend to say is, "Oh, Simon, yeah, we remember these characters. Is it Bill or Bob? And which one was doing things right and which one was doing things wrong?" So today I'm going to develop their stories a little bit. Essentially, in the first book, they were the same people, but separated by time. I'm going to develop their stories today to illustrate a really important point when it comes to successful executive job search, or job search at whatever level you're at, whether it's starting out or even mid-career. So when Bob comes onto the job market, Bob sees two things. He sees job boards and professional recruiters. And the reason he sees these is because he goes out there and asks everybody else that he knows who's been in the job market, is in the job market, and says, how do you find a job? How do you find a job in the executive job market? And the answer he gets is, well, what do? You go to job boards, of course, and you go to professional recruiters. And that's all he sees. And for him, seeing is believing. So for him, seeing is believing because he can see these jobs advertised. He can see jobs on recruitment websites. So because he can see the jobs, in his mindset, he thinks, well, okay, I'm quite close to them. There is a high probability of me securing one. But then what happens, of course, is he applies and he waits. And he goes home and he waits and he waits and he waits for the phone to ring or for the email to arrive. And when it doesn't, he starts to go down this downward spiral that I talk about. And he can become despondent, disempowered, and think, well, do you know what? This really isn't working, but he doesn't really know why. If you contrast that with Bill has a very different approach because Bill understands how the job market really works. He understands what I call the job market environment, how employers make decisions, what motivates them into action, and also how to engage properly with recruiters, what motivates recruiters, so you can get the best response from them. So Bill really understands how to turn up and approach the executive job market in the right way. And that's a big, big difference. So when Bill looks out onto the job market landscape, yes, he can see the executive job boards, he can see the executive recruiters, and they are a route to market for him, but they're not the only route to market. And Bill understands the existence of the hidden market. And being a professional recruiter for over 10 years, I was very aware of the hidden market because what it meant was that employers weren't giving me business. Instead, they were going out to the market themselves to find and secure the talent that they wanted. And they particularly do this, or sometimes can do this at the executive level, where it's a higher risk piece of recruitment. It generally takes a bit longer, and recommendation and referral are really, really important. And if you've read my book, Super Secrets of Successful Executive Job Search, I talk about conversations 1, 2, and 3. And this is really playing as an executive job seeker in conversations 1 and 2. But there's a difference here. So if you think about Bob, for him, seeing is believing. But for Bill, he can't necessarily see these jobs in the hidden market because they're invisible at the moment. So for him, believing is seeing. But because he understands that the hidden market exists and because he believes in the hidden market, then his beliefs inform his thoughts, inform his actions. And because he takes diligent, everyday action, ultimately these opportunities will be revealed to him. And because he's essentially getting ahead of the market, so he's talking to businesses, organizations, employers before they go out to job boards or recruiters, then he's in a higher probability position to be invited in for interview and to have the chance to get in front of the employer and to secure the opportunity. So there's a big difference, big difference. Could be the same people, but just a very, very different approach. And the other thing Bill does, as well as going direct to employer in the hidden market, is he approaches market makers. So these are well-connected individuals who could potentially introduce him to people in his industry sector. These are the people that get asked all the time, who do you know, who do you know, who do you think I should talk to? Because we all like recommendations, because there's more certainty with recommendations that we're making the right decision. The candidates that's recommended by somebody is more of a proven candidate than somebody we've never ever met before or have no knowledge of. So big important distinction between Bob and Bill. And I wanted to talk very briefly about beliefs and control in the job market. So if you approach in the way that Bill approaches the job market, then you have very different beliefs. That informs your thoughts, and you know that if you take action within a specified period of time, you're going to get a result. You don't necessarily know when the result comes, but you know if you take action and do the right things, the result will come. So you're more likely to take that action. For you, believing is seeing. And one of the things that stops people in their tracks quite often is when they have the kind of Bob traits, which is, okay, prove to me that this stuff works and then I'll do it. But in actual fact, that's not really the way it works, particularly not in the job market. You have to take the action, and then that informs you that it actually works. We like instant gratification in life. As human beings, we do, and we're conditioned to it. If we do something, we want to expect to get B. You know, I use the example of you go to a coffee shop. If you hand over your £2.50, there's a certainty that you're going to get your coffee delivered to you, and it's going to be hot. And it's going to taste good, but in the job market there's no guarantee. What you do and the result you get on any particular occasion, any particular application, there is never any guarantee of a result, which is why you have to believe different things like Bill and take consistent action over time and improve and improve and improve. And that's how the job market really works if you want to find success. The other difference between Bill and Bob is that because Bill is in proactive control, so he's not waiting for the phone to ring, he's very proactive in what he does, he's taken personal responsibility for his job search, because he knows what he's doing each and every day, because he's got a plan that he's following, then psychologically he's on an upward spiral. Okay, he's not necessarily got the result on day one. He will take rejection like everybody else, but the difference is he learns from that rejection, but he continues and continues and continues. So when the opportunity does show up, psychologically, he's in a great place to capitalize on that opportunity. Contrast with Bob, who's on this downward spiral because he's very reactive to what's happening. You know, he will probably get a job at some point. A job will turn up, it'll be put in front of him, but the danger there is that when that job appears, he's psychologically so damaged by the job market because he's been in it for 3 to 6 months, which at the executive level is not uncommon, that even if the perfect job did show up by chance, and I really don't like leaving things to chance, even if it did, he's not in the best position to capitalize on that opportunity. So he may actually lose it. So I guess the question today is, if you're in the executive job market and you're thinking about your strategy and what it is you do, ask yourself an honest question. Are you more like Bob or are you more like Bill in some of the stuff that you're doing? Because actually to find success and to stay motivated, positive and psychologically in control of your job search, Bill really is the recommended path to follow. So I said I'd keep the video short today. That's really it. Please send me some feedback. You can get in touch with me at LinkedIn. My LinkedIn username is Simon Gray, GrayACA, or through the website on the Get in Contact page. And if you've got any topics that you'd like me to cover on next week's video, any questions or comments, then please shoot me a message and I'll come back to you personally. So until next time, until next week, have a great rest of week, and I'll see you again soon.